Without further ado, I'm going to announce Mr. Dan, and he's going to talk about Brother Kabili as we pay our tribute to this young man and his excellence for all the work he have done in our community. Mr. Wiley.
Thank you, Brother Gilmore, for your introduction and this opportunity to come before your audience to speak about my brother, Kabili Tayari. I met Kabili some 51 years ago at the age of 17 when I first started attending Jersey City State College. Together, we became members of the Black Freedom Society. That was the student organization on that campus. And I watched Kabili growth and development from those early years into the man that he has become in terms of being an icon and a legend in this community. The most important thing, perhaps, that I can speak to you about in terms of his training, in terms of his passion and commitment and his intensity to serve not just the Black community in particular, but all people who love justice, all people who believe in the righteousness of the cause for African Americans to continue their struggle as the agenda itself was laid out during the 1960s during the Civil Rights Movement. Kabili was often very strong in his presentation of our history that addressed the fact that Martin, Malcolm, Elijah, Frederick, Sojourner, Harriet, they were all about a particular blueprint. That blueprint at its core was the liberation of African people. Kabili stayed true to himself and to those principles and values that I first met him, that when he walked into any of the Black Freedom Society meetings in that Black Student Center room, he was always the one to raise the important issues. Jersey City has truly lost an important man, an important fighter for justice. Kabili Tayari is my brother. For a number of years, we've traveled across this country. I've seen him perform his commitment and his passion at such gatherings as the National Black Independent Political Parties Convention, both in Gary, Indiana, and in also Little Rock, Arkansas. We went to the homes of Miss Daisy Bates. We also attended a police homicides conference sponsored by the National Black Conference of Black Lawyers in California at Pepperdine University. The National Black United Fund and its meetings across the country. We had an opportunity to attend two of those together. He was, in every sense of the word, as he would often like to refer to me and Joe Charles and Ray Brown, his road dogs. We did a lot together. And folks, while I believe it's important that I can come on and talk to you about Kabili Tayari and some of the his special achievements, but know this: he loved the struggle and he loved Black people. He was always about trying to promote for us an agenda of unity, to uplift ourselves, to seek the type of empowerment that we deserve to have within not just local Jersey City government, but across this country. And it's so very important that you understand that his work was all about not just bringing us together, but bringing us together around an agenda of inclusion of all people that make up our community, of all levels of their lives. No one was better than another. Kabili understood that to the degree that Black elected officials themselves were divided and unable to come together around an agenda to that same degree. The magnification of that division among us, among our leaders, would multiply itself many times over within our community. If there's any one thing that we can do and should do to honor Kabili's memory, it's to organize, belong to some organization, seek to serve our people in this community to the best of our ability with every sense of excellence that we can muster within ourselves. I'm glad that Brother Gilmore is having this program this evening to focus on Kabili. I know that his legacy, his significance cannot be addressed inside of 5 minutes or 10 minutes. But I would encourage him to pull together a panel of individuals who can talk about Kabili, his contributions, his ideas, his beliefs, and how he wanted to see this community move forward. I think such a panel discussion should be held here in his office or probably perhaps in a larger venue. But Kabili's passing through has to be more than just memorialized with a 10-minute segment on the Gilmore program. It's up to this community to believe that we can capture his essence over a period of time with some serious-minded discussion among folks who have been on the battlefield and who have known him across this country. Kabili's reputation was such. He was known not just across this country, but he had an international reputation as a freedom fighter as well. And so I'm going to miss him, as I know so many countless others will be missing him. For those of you who would like to have details about his homegoing celebration, his homegoing service, let me say to you that on Tuesday of next week from 12 to 6, there will be a public viewing of Kabili at the Heavenly Temple Church at 15 Martin Luther King Drive. And because of the sad state of affairs in terms of COVID, we would ask everybody to practice safety, social distancing, and wear a mask. There will be a service for his family and very close friends earlier in the morning, but the church is going to be open for 6 hours. And we would ask that you come through to pay your respects to this giant in our community. I want to lastly give a salute to Al Sullivan, the columnist, in his writing of an article remembering Jersey City's civil rights leader, Kabili Tayari. It's the best piece that I've read thus far with regards to Kabili's history of struggle in this city and the kinds of things that he wanted to encourage our children to be about in terms of knowing and understanding their history. And the fact that, you know, he belonged to not just the National Black Independent Political Party, but the New Jersey Black Issues Convention, the New Jersey Association of Black Educators, the African Liberation Support Committee. Kabili's achievements, his commitments, you know, just span over 5 decades. And I just want to share with you something that I had prepared in honor of my friend, my brother. And it simply reads as follows. Rest in peace, Kabili Tayari, my dear brother. You have truly served God and his people as a good and faithful servant warrior in the fight against social injustice and institutional racism. Thank you for defending, preserving, promoting, and teaching the hidden truths about African and African American history and culture in your strong and loud voice. Thank you for your powerful example of courage over the course of many years and the loving sacrifices that you have made on behalf of all people. Your urgent call for all of us to organize and unite around common interests, to further educate and arm the masses with basic truths against fake facts will prayerfully grow roots in the not too distant future. Thank you for being an excellent role model for our children and demonstrating that Frederick, Marcus, Martin, Malcolm, Adam, and Mary, what it takes to be a proud and fearless Black man in America. I want to say thank you for the time that you allowed me to have to address a few comments about Kabili. Very special brother in my life. And every year, as we're about to approach Kwanzaa, for the last 25, 35 years, Kabili has led such a celebration. I want you to have a special memory of him when the Kwanzaa does arrive and roll around, and all of us participate in our special way to celebrate that African American holiday. So Brother Gilmore, thank you again for inviting me here this evening to say a few words. I hope I have said something of meaning to help move people forward and capturing and gathering and retaining a special and fond memory of Brother Tayari. He'll be sorely missed, but he'll live forever in the hearts of those of us who love justice and are willing to continue to fight for it and the empowerment of oppressed peoples everywhere. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Mr. Dan, for those powerful words as we begin to honor a giant, man. Thank you very much for those powerful words.